On April 25th to the 26th, 1986, the massive explosion of Chernobyl occurred in Ukraine.
Disaster struck during a safety test where a sudden surge in power caused an explosion of steam, leading to a large fire and the release of radioactive particles into the atmosphere.
Covered by the radioactive particles, millions of acres of forest and farmland were contaminated. Thousands of people were evacuated, but hundreds of thousands remained in their homes.
For many years after, livestock, wildlife, and humans were born deformed, and among humans, several thousand radiation-induced illnesses and cancer deaths were expected in the long term. Warning, the following images are a bit graphic.
To know a little more about how this event was caused, Fifi will give us more information.
The Chernobyl disaster occurred when technicians at a nuclear reactor Unit 4 attempted a poorly designed experiment. They shut down the reactor's power regulating system and its emergency safety systems, and they removed control rods from its core while allowing the reactor to run at 7% power. These mistakes led to an uncontrollable chain reaction that resulted in several massive explosions.
The image shown is the damaged Unit 4 reactor building. The interaction of scalding fuel with the cooling water led to fuel fragmentation along with rapid steam production and an increase in pressure. The overpressure caused the 1,000-ton cover plate to detach, rupturing the fuel channels and jamming all the control rods, which by that time were only halfway down. Intense steam generation then spread throughout the whole core, causing a steam explosion and releasing fission products into the atmosphere. About 2 to 3 seconds later, a second explosion threw out fragments from the fuel channels and hot graphite.
The immediate impact of this was the largest uncontrolled radioactive release into the environment ever recorded for any civilian operation. Largest quantities of radioactive substances were released into the air for about 10 days. The event produced several times more radioactivity than that created by the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Wow.
On May 2nd, 1986, the Soviet Union created a circle-shaped exclusion zone centered at the nuclear power plant. The exclusion zone covered an area about 1,000 square miles around the plant.
Sources say 2 Chernobyl plant workers died to the explosion on the night of the accident, and a further 28 people died within a few weeks as a result of acute radiation syndrome. Dozens more contracted serious radiation sicknesses. Some of these people later died.
In addition, thousands of deaths from radiation-induced illnesses and cancer were expected years later.
Some 350,000 people were evacuated as a result of the accident, but resettlement of the areas which people were relocated is ongoing.